Out of Southern Detention Center. Your account balance is $22.66. To hear the charges for this call, press or say 2. To accept this call, press or say 5. To refuse this call, hang up now. To block this call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hello, hello.
Omar, is it true that Joshua Martinez rode back with you to the same jail?
He did come back here, I heard. I wasn't able to see him. I heard he got arrested.
Okay. Do you think he
trying to come to my court?
Yeah, he did get arrested. I didn't know if he rode back with you in the same van or transportation unit, but that's what they said. But I wanted to confirm it with you. It sounds like that he may not have rode back in the same transportation unit with you then.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
What happened is I was in trial. I had my suits in where I was wearing in a separate cell where everyone really is usually at. So. Yeah, I got dressed out and I went on the early bus back. So I didn't get to see if he was even there. I didn't even know until I got back, talked to some people. Yeah, it's screwed up, man. It's really crazy.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it. He said.
Yeah, I understand it. Yeah,
okay.
I get what he's saying. Well, yeah, I'll look into that. I mean, so in my view, from what I see from the Supreme Court, is if you have ineffective assistance to counsel or no counsel, it's the same thing. It's equivalent because it's an uncounseled conviction.
Yeah.
If I understand that, and I did have ineffective because the Brady violations in the previous case it was very ineffective for the counsel to read the discovery where it says in discovery that there was photographs taken, and they never even request for them.
Yeah.
So it's very ineffective.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'll look into that.
I'm glad you know all that legal stuff because it doesn't make no sense to me. But I was shocked that it came back so quick, man. A guilty verdict. But I did hear you tell Kelly that you think you'll get time served, which that's hopeful. I mean, I'm hoping you get out of there soon, even if they did find you guilty. You know.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, man. I'm gonna be filing a motion for release pending sentencing real soon. It was very wrong the way it happened. Everything was It was a railroad trial. It was really bad, really, really bad. They stopped me from bringing up down there everything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even ask a single question to the ATF agent.
Wow.
Anything. I tried like maybe 5 questions or so, and every single one object. He's trying to argue law, or that's an improper question. I was just simply saying, hey, you're an expert in interstate commerce. Can you please define commerce for the jury? Objection. That's not a proper question. Sustained. Okay. Well, in your opinion, does does possession of a firearm affect interstate commerce? Objection. He's trying to argue the law. And I tried it like 5-6 times, and everything was object. And then I was like, well, no more questions. I mean, what else could I do at that point?
Well, I mean, what's the purpose of a trial by jury if you're not going to discuss the law? I mean,
exactly. Well, and I told that to the judge. I said, Your Honor, this is a factual element. This is a factual question that I'm asking you. And he says, I don't agree. And that's it.
Hey.
And they watch how crazy. Hold on. They threatened. They said on the record, the prosecution said if you put your mother on the stand, then she will need an attorney to counsel her because we might prosecute her for perjury because of her previous statements in state court.
Incredible.
So I withdrew her as a witness. I mean, I'm not, what, really?
Yeah.
This is insane. I mean, so they barred every defense I had, and the good news is I did get to prove on the record through the officers' testimonies that it was a legal stop, a legal search. Everything was a lie. I showed all the lies. They impeached damn near every officer on the stand. Did
you say illegal or illegal? Did you say illegal search, an illegal stop, or illegal?
No, illegal.
Illegal. Okay.
Yeah. Well, So his testimony, he said that he was going 35 miles an hour, and he testified that I pulled out about possibly one car length in front of him, he says. And I told the jury in closing, I said, well, this is unreasonable. This would have been common sense. That's a car accident. He lied about his reason for pulling me over. Then when he testified that he came to my car window and that he smells marijuana. However, he also testified that he was familiar with me smoking a tobacco cigarette.
Yeah, wow.
This is absolutely unreasonable.
Yeah.
He's saying that I was smoking a cigarette, yet he smells marijuana.
Huh.
Come on. And when I said, why were you digging in your pockets? Oh, I was reaching for my flashlight. And I was like, well, you did not touch the firearm in the car? Yes, no, I did not. And well, why were you using the flash? Wasn't it daytime? And he says, well, I was trying to look for the serial number. I said, well, was it that dark? I mean, it's daytime. You're not touching the firearm, but you're looking for the serial number with your flashlight?
In the daytime? I mean, why does he need a flashlight in the daytime?
It was daytime. It was 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, crazy.
In the daytime, daylight.
Yeah, I got you.
It's just total nonsense. The jury, I don't understand how they can just buy all the lies and not care that it was totally wrong, how long I've been here. And, it was really messed up the way it went down. Like I said, you got the judge. Even the prosecutor said they even talked to some jurors and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, but it was nothing. It was about coffee and donuts."
Wow.
I mean, come on, man.
Wow.
But, anyways, we know how the system works, and I just pray I get out of here. And like I said, I showed the facts that it was all illegal, and that everything should have been suppressed from the very beginning. That I've never even had a hearing on it. So this is my first time in federal court even proving all these lies that I've been saying for years, that these officers have been lying. And it sucks because my both alternate jurors were on my side. They were agreeing with me. When I was doing my closing, this is a very attentive juror. She was taking notes throughout the trial, and she was like, nodding in my favor, like, yes, like, yeah, you're right. These cops are lying, and they did you wrong, and and then unfortunately she was an alternate. She couldn't even she couldn't talk to the other jurors, during deliberations. She would have helped me out.
Do you feel it was a fair? Do you feel it was a fair voir dire process?
It was, and I think what really screwed up is by me. The guy that ended up being the foreman, I was about to strike him, and I should have stuck with my gut.
Yeah. And
I really screwed up that. I think. I can't blame no one, but that's just the past. It's over with.
Yeah.
But I truly feel that's what happened. This guy, he said he was a Marine, and that he had I guess he had a DUI once in the past, and his house was burglarized and things like that. And I understood a little bit, and at first I was like, well, and I wanted to re-question him about him being burglarized, whether he believes that since someone is just a criminal, that they're just a criminal. So, or just that it went personal to his what happened to him, because he wouldn't know what my past felony was, which is the battery charge. That was really nothing happened there, which we're still fighting. Well, long story short, he ended up being the foreman, and I don't know, it was just bad.
Yeah.
Didn't look good, so.
Yeah, the tricks these prosecutors and judges use are so common across the whole country. Whether they prevent you from discussing the law, or all these motion and limines, or whatever the case may be, they always do the same tricks over and over again. I mean, it's just insanity. They don't have a good imagination, because they've got to limit and restrict you from defending yourself so that you can never win.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to say, Omar, this thing about going after your mother and threatening your mother, that's very common with the Las Vegas police. And up in Alaska, they threatened to go after, somebody's wife who was pregnant when he was going to trial. So, it's very common for them to, and then we also have another guy in Las Vegas named Fisher of Men, Bryce Quellar. They said that if he didn't, take a plea, that they were going to go after his brother on false charges. So going after somebody's mother, their brother, their wife, I mean, these low-life scumbags, they always do that. I mean, that's their modus operandi.
Yeah, it is, man. It's crazy, man. And it is the last minute, right when I was about to call her, they tried to say all that. Well, what it is they knew that I was already looking real good, and then when I was, put my mother up there, she's the owner of the car. She would have testified to the contents of the car, how it looked, and how the officer ripped the upholstery and ripped the consoles off the car, and how this is wrong. That this officer ripped the car apart. She would have said, I lent my son the car, and when I got it back, it was all ripped up by the officers, and this was.
Hey, Omar, you cut out, man. I can't hear you. Omar, I can't hear a word you're saying, man. It cut out. Okay, well, that was Omar. I had heard that he had, they had gone in the same transportation vehicle back to the prison, but obviously that's not true. But they did arrest Joshua Martinez, and so there's no doubt about that. Anyway, please keep Omar in your prayers, and hopefully he will get out soon.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Well, I guess it hung up on us.
Yeah, it cut off on you in mid-sentence, and you might have still been talking, but I couldn't hear a word, so I had to hang up to force the call to drop.
Oh, that sucks. Where would I leave off at?
I think we were talking about how they went after your mother, and I said that's pretty common, and then you went into something about some other stuff they were doing, I think.
Yeah, well, no, I was just basically saying that I'm not mad at the jury for what happened. I'm mad at the way the judicial system is, and that the public is not being educated properly, on what their constitutional rights are and the principles of the Constitution. Or else they would return a not guilty verdict and at least have some doubts in what the government's bringing in their cases. But that's the problem, is they're brainwashing the public to what's going on, and how they're running these courts. So
yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. I think the American people have been absolutely brainwashed that they think they're getting a fair day in trial, but that almost never happens, if never. Let me ask you, you seem pretty confident in your conversation with Kelly that you are getting out, even if the worst case scenario, because of what the prosecution was asking for as far as time. What was the amount of months, like 63 to 70 or something, or do you remember?
The government is asking for, I think, like 63 to 78 months. But my estimation is about it's 21 to 27, which is correct, and I've already proved that through the motions. They just won't answer it because I'm right. They would have to let me out. So hopefully they finally answer that question, and we'll find out soon.
Well, I mean, what's your confidence level that they're going to do the right thing and let you out on time served? I mean, because these bastards are so evil, I keep telling everybody, don't underestimate how evil they are. Do you think they could throw the book at you and give you the very maximum just because they don't like you so much? I don't see it. I don't see it because, like I said, I think my guidelines is pretty low. My history is just that one, charge, and it's no big deal. So it's not like I'm some type of horrible criminal who's done a lot of bad stuff or anything like that. And they base it off your history, your criminal history. That's what they base it on. So I have a really low guideline, So based on that, I mean, like I said, the worst, what they're going to do, 35 months? Yeah.
I've done 42, so that's for that reason. I think So that's the thing is, even like a 15-month sentence, I would have with good time credits. I'd have time served because you get good time for every year. I guess you get a couple months off.
Yeah.
So since I've done 42 actual months, well, I would be at least like 40, maybe. Well, it's 3.5 months from sentencing right now. So 42.5 and 3.5 is 46. That's 46 months of actual time. So,
well,
hopefully I get released before that, but anything's possible.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, if they come back and sentence you, for 35 months, maybe they got to pay you some money for all the time you spend in prison over. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Crazy, man.
I think, yeah, it is, man. Like I said, I got all the suppression stuff on the record. I mean, one officer got on the stand and I said, so would refresh your memory to know at the time I was handcuffed and arrested? And he said, maybe. So I had him read his own report. I said, could you please read the second paragraph right there at the top? He's reading it, right, to himself.
Yep.
And I said, okay, does that refresh your recollection? He says, no. I said, Your Honor, I'm offering to move this exhibit into evidence under impeachment. Because he just, I just had him read that the time that I was arrested and handcuffed, yet he doesn't refresh his recollection. And, you know, the government, they were just like, we stipulate. They didn't even object because it was too obvious. So,
wow.
I mean, just impeach the guy right there on the, I mean, he lied to all of us right there on the stand, reading his own report, lying to us that he doesn't know when I was handcuffed and arrested. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is, but it goes right to the heart of, because that was one of the main questions that they would never answer, because the time I was arrested, it's a whole legal thing, but it would be called an incident to search, right? An incident to arrest. Like once I'm arrested, then they have the right to go search a car. But I was illegally arrested at the time, so I was handcuffed because of gemstones. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was arrested for something that's not even illegal. So by them arresting me, they can only search what's in my immediate control, according to the law. And by him lying, and but me proving the lie that he knew when I was arrested, and showing when I was arrested, shows that it was an illegal search, which just like solidified my motion to suppress evidence in the past. So that's the great news. So, like I said, that just takes time and appeals, and we'll see what plays out.
Do you know? And that's great. Do you know why? Not to keep going back to Joshua, but there's so little that's known about why he was arrested. Do you have any clue? I mean, has anybody told you?
What I heard was that, like, yeah, a couple of days ago when he tried to come to the hearing, they wouldn't let him in, and he put out a camera and started recording the marshals and saying, you guys need to let me in. This is a public courthouse. I'm trying to go to a public hearing or whatever. And they basically grabbed his phone, tackled him, beat him up. And so I guess I'm hearing Homeland Security came to talk to him, and they even cleared him. They said, no, he's fine. He didn't do nothing wrong. Let him in. So he walks in, and I actually got to see him in the courtroom. I waved at him, saw him for a few minutes.
Yep.
But I guess when they beat him up and they hurt him, I'm hearing, I don't know exactly where, but I think his back or something was really in a lot of pain. So he left, and it seek medical treatment. So that happened, and then yesterday, when he came back again, I heard when he got off the elevator, the marshals grabbed him and arrested him.
Wow.
Yeah, no one knows really. And so I, I did call Kelly, I did call Josh's father, and I let them know that the procedure here is, so the problem is you won't be able to call anybody till tonight. If they brought him back here. Because what happens is if they had arrested him there, he won't get back till late at night, and then they have to do all the processing, which takes all the way till possibly midnight So he's just stuck in like a cell where he can't call anybody. And then what happens is they probably drug him back to court today at a hearing possibly around 3 p.m., which means he'd be in court it takes all the way till like 8 o'clock just to get back. So by the time he gets back, then he'll be able to use the phone, possibly. So maybe like 9 p.m. tonight he'll call somebody, which is pretty screwed up.
Yeah, it is screwed up. The Las Vegas Metro Police Department, man, they are as corrupt as the day is long. And I'm still concerned about you, Omar. I mean, I know that you from your perspective, you've got a low guidelines. You don't have a criminal history, but they just make stuff up, man. I mean, I've seen them do this, to people before, and I'm concerned they'll try to set you up and even keep you in there longer. So I'm not gonna, I'll be thanking God when you actually are out of there. So.
Yeah, man. I know, man. I know. It's crazy. It's overwhelming what they do and what they did, and I can't even explain all. It's just too much, It's just all the details, but they did a lot wrong. This was not a normal trial. It was very, very wrong the way it went down, the way they did me, and I didn't get any rest, any sleep. I came back feeling like a zombie. My hands were shaking from no sleep for 3 days. I had a total of about 10 hours of sleep in 72 hours.
Wow.
It's just, I don't even know how I did the trial myself. I couldn't focus correctly. Thank God I did get a lot of the good facts out there. And, honestly, I was nervous in front of the jury. I've never been to trial. I'm not a professional lawyer, but I did my best. And,
yeah.
It was nerve-wracking. It really was, man.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I can imagine it was.
It's pretty weird. When I was there reading the verdict, I felt like my muscles were spazzing, or like someone was punching me. Some demon trying to punch me or something. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But
wow.
I don't know, man. Well, I don't know. I can probably ask. Well, I just talked to my paralegal. She said that to probably get some letters of support to attach for sentencing purposes. So if you can get anyone to help anyone wants to support.
Yeah.
Writing for why I should be released. And
no, you bet. That. What do you have a date yet? Do you have a sentencing date yet?
I believe it's November 15 or November 19. My paralegal just said the 15th.
No, November the 15th?
9 a.m. Yeah, about 3.5 months from now.
Jeesh. Are you going to be sitting in there another 3.5 freaking months?
I hope not.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing is I'm going to be filing a motion for release pending sentencing soon. And that's why I'm asking if anyone would like to write any letters, support. I can attach it to that possibly. Well,
let me ask you, Omar. A lot of times, people ask that the letters go to the defense attorney and have the defense attorney pick out the best ones, because sometimes the letters are a little bit, too radical, and they don't want the judge to, backfire. Do you want people to send the letters
right.
to you?
Yeah, directly to me because I'm the counsel. I guess.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So send the letters to you. Send the letters to you, and you'll present it to the judge. Got it. Okay.
Right. Any letters of support that I could attach, that'd be awesome. I think that could help a lot. And yeah, hopefully nothing radical in there.
Yeah, because some people are like, I hate the judge, or I hate the judicial system. You guys are.
And I might agree with those views, but don't put that out there.
Yeah, you don't want it. Yeah.
Sometimes, like even when I was doing jury selection, there were some people that I was like, oh my God, I wish I could. I would love to have that person on my jury, because they're telling the truth. This young black lady, she said, I don't believe in the judicial system because of what I see on the news of the police shooting people and the corruption. And I'm thinking, why are you telling this to them?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, just keep that in and just get on my jury, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
God. Well, anyways, and that's, I think, what people need to know is if you want to help a fellow American and you're being called to jury duty, then do that. Don't tell your hand of what you feel.
Yeah.
Because that is irrelevant of whether, your own opinions and stuff like that should, that's your whole, that's why you believe what you believe.
Right, right. Yeah, people need to recognize we are in a war, and there's people's lives at stake here, and it's an absolute war of freedom versus tyranny, and they've got to play their hand right, because these courtrooms are so biased against the defendant that we've got to help each other out as Americans to fix this problem, and jury nullification is one of those tools.
Exactly. Well, there was a guy during voir dire where he even said himself, he was like, well, in my view, if you're accused by the U.S. government, you must be guilty. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's like, but I was able to kick off a lot of people who work for the government or they're anti-gun, and but at the end of the day, the jury, the prosecution, throw a lot of bad stuff in there, and it was like, well, look, he's guilty. He had a gun there in the car, and that's it. Period. There's no other story. Did
you get to tell the jury that you had been in jail for 42 months before the trial even started? Did you even get to tell them that?
I kind of tried to hint that. I couldn't exactly say that, but I did say, it's been 42 months. there's been no documents, no receipts of any commerce. We're not here for speculation. We're here for facts. And then they objected. Well, objection, Your Honor. He's trying to talk about pre-trial litigation. And then I was like, okay. And then I went back into closing argument. I said, well, January 6, 2015.
Yeah, gotcha.
is when I was arrested. So then they couldn't object to that one because they're like, oh, God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
crazy.
I don't know. I would guess they would get the hint from that. 42 months ago, like January 6, 2015, we're here for a gun possession charge?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't understand it. Maybe they didn't care. I don't know. I can't read their minds. But, I don't know. It is pretty sad. I don't understand how anyone could agree with that and agree with all the lies. They'd rather agree with all the officers' lies when it's proven on the record. Shown in their face of all their misconduct, but yet they didn't care about a single thing. And I'm telling these people, I'm like, these officers are supposed to have the public's faith and confidence. These officers took an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yet they're in here deceiving us. They're lying to our faces, lying to the court, and they didn't care, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe they were, kind of felt like they were threatened to convict. That's why I'm not mad at the jurors, because I feel like sometimes they feel like, well, if we didn't convict them, we're not doing our duty, and that maybe we could be prosecuted. And I told the judge to instruct them that they cannot be punished for their verdict, and stuff like that. But he wouldn't instruct them on stuff, and that is the law. That's just the American history, that they cannot be punished for their verdict. This should be known that. They should be instructed to know that.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
And if you don't instruct that, then you're basically telling them just find this guy guilty, whether you want to or not. And that's what's so messed up. So.
I hope you get out of there soon, man. 42 months, and it's just a gun possession charge, like you said. That's ludicrous, and I hope the judge lets you out. But I'm concerned that Las Vegas is so corrupt, man. I've got so many examples of corrupt, cases in that dang city, man. If you get out of there, man, you should get the heck out of Las Vegas.
Hey, so I had about 20 people on my witness list. I was able to call Detective Michael Kitchen, the one that was arrested.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And, so I get him on the stand. And so funny thing is he was actually a hostile witness to the government. Because, of course, they fired him and this and that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This guy he gets on there and he actually helps me out because he helped me out by just telling the truth, by just telling what happened. So he was the one who interrogated me, right? And every single officer before him testified that it was Officer Rada that came with Officer Kitchen. And Officer Rada was there present during the interrogation, which he was not. And I've been arguing for years that he was never there. I've never seen this guy in my life. So when Kitchen gets on the stand, I said, so who was present during the interrogation? Was it just me and you, or was there any of your partners present? And he said, oh, it was just me and you.
Wow.
So, I mean, proved, and I told that to the jury in closing. I said, you know, either all these officers previously were either coached by the prosecution or they all talked to each other prior to the testimony, because the person who actually interrogated me himself said that no other officers were present. It was just me and him. No, and I said, and that's for you guys to decide. But, you know, this is the person who talked to me, you know, who would know best. So, you know, I don't know. It was, maybe they knew about his arrest. We didn't talk about it because I wasn't allowed to. They threatened to take my pro se status and to hold me in contempt of court if I even asked him why he was arrested or his former employment. So,
wow. Wow. What about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I guess that don't mean anything anymore.
No, that doesn't work in the courthouse.
Yeah, right.
But, all right, Rudy. You guys take care, and
okay.
Thank you for everything.
I'm going to ask people to write you letters. Write you letters for you know, let you free, and hopefully you'll get some letters to help in that sentencing phase, Omar.
Thank you, man. God bless.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
God bless you, Omar. All right. God bless.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.